Hey there, welcome back to Exhausted to Thriving, the YouTube channel where I help stressed out moms go from exhausted and really stressed out back to thriving and regaining their natural energy. This is for moms of all kinds. No matter how old your kids are, you're going to benefit from this information, I think. And I really want to help you feel better and feel amazing again. So today in my video, I'm going to talk about Depleted Mother Syndrome. This is a new syndrome I came across the internet online, and I think it's more used in the mental health area, but it really also describes what I've been trying to let my moms that I'm working with, trying to explain what's happening in your life, in your body, and why you're feeling so tired. So this is one other way to explain what's happening, and let's dive right into it and see what it is. So depleted mother syndrome is happening to moms when demands increase and resources decrease. So you're bringing a new baby home, you have more demands and you have fewer resources, and then your sensitivity increases. So that means your buttons are pushed many times throughout the day, and you're much more sensitive to internal and external triggers of all kinds, and you become frazzled and tired. Does that sound familiar? I know it was familiar to me. Now that I'm looking back on my own experience bringing home my twins, I was definitely feeling frazzled and tired, and I was most definitely suffering from the depleted mother syndrome. And I can tell you that almost all moms at some point in their lives as moms have struggled with this. So let's look at what it is exactly. Increased demands. So it means you are juggling more tasks and work longer and try to do more things than your own mothers did. So this is just a new generation of being a mom trying to juggle so many things. We're often working part-time or full-time and also trying to juggle raising kids, taking care of the household, cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, and everything else that you are responsible for. Then you also have to struggle with high expectations from our own culture, from our spouse, from our own extended family sometimes, from ourselves. We're often feeling like we're never good enough because we just can't meet those high expectations because they're not really realistic. So that's what leaves us feeling like we're never good enough. And then we feel like also self-care is selfish. That's a message we've been receiving since we were very young, especially as girls and as moms. We shouldn't be taking any time for ourselves. But that can really backfire when we are actually moms. And then feeling responsible for meeting everyone else's needs and being on call 24/7 and 365 days a year. This can really wear you down, not having a break and feeling responsible for everyone's needs. Recovering from pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding. This has been something that is really demanding a lot physically from your body. It has depleted your resources physically and psychologically too. So we need to take time to recover and not expect to bounce back immediately. We're also experiencing a lot of physical changes in our experience, in our appearance. We no longer look like the same person that we were before we were pregnant, before we had kids. We're suddenly a different shape, a different size, different maybe skin. Everything is different about us. So we are struggling with our self-image, our self-esteem. And on top of that, we're also comparing ourselves to the perfect moms on social media. We're looking on Instagram or Facebook and thinking, oh, they're able to do everything that I wish I could do. How they should be, if they can do it, I should be able to do it, right? But it's not quite that easy, because I can tell you that almost all moms, no matter if they are perfect on social media or not, almost all moms struggle with this. This is the reality. So it doesn't really help us to compare ourselves. All right, decreased resources. Of course, sleep deprivation and sleep interruptions is a big one. When your kids are young, especially then, you're going to be interrupted. They're going to need you at night. They're going to wake up and have a nightmare, or they need to be fed. So that's definitely something that's impacting a lot of moms, especially when you first bring your babies home. But also genuine lack of genuine downtime. So just time for yourself, just some quiet time where you don't have to take care of somebody. That is also missing for a lot of moms. We're often feeling stressed, distant in our relationship with our partner. So they're often strained too. They're trying to help you, not sure how to do that. You feeling stressed, they feel stressed. So all of that kind of snowballs. Then isolation from family and friends. This is a big one. We live much further away from our extended family that previous generations did. We no longer have this close-knit community that can help us raise our family. We often are really spread apart, so that makes it also much more difficult. We have limited opportunities for exercise. We don't have quite the amount of time that we did before to just exercise and go hiking and whatever classes we took before. We often are so rushed and just grab whatever we can find that our diet is very, very unbalanced. We just eat things here and there, not really thinking about what we're putting on our body. And then also we have kind of a lack of time for hobbies, for friends, being out in nature, things that bring us joy, that is really hard to come by to have the time for this. And of course, this looks very bleak, but I want to tell you all of this, if this is not addressed, can really add up to bigger issues. It can add up to chronic stress. And this is what I dealt with and what lots of moms deal with that I'm working with. Because chronic stress, I wrote it down here, is what when we constantly experience these increased demands and decreased resources and there's no relief. There's no change to that. It's constant, every day, in and out. And when this happens for several weeks or several months even, it can easily trigger a hormonal imbalance because our cortisol level, cortisol gets triggered whenever we experience a stress response. So whenever you're experiencing these triggers and your buttons are pushed, that's a stress response in your body. And you're releasing cortisol and lots of other hormones like adrenaline and insulin that are also triggering an imbalance of other hormones in your body. And it can trigger an insulin resistance, and it can trigger fatigue and inflammation, lots of things that are creating more fatigue and more issues for your health down the line. So we really need to address this. So that's why I'm here. I have a few tips for you for how you can reverse this and not be struggling with this as much. Of course, we can't just put our babies to bed and expect them to sleep all night when they're really young. That's not realistic, but we can set limitations and we can set expectations and boundaries with our children. As young as 6 months or 1 year old, they can learn to return to their bed. You can return them. They can return to their bed as well. And you just set those expectations for them and be really consistent. Sometimes it can take a while to teach your kids this, but letting them know that mommy also needs rest and sleep is so important when they're young because it helps them learn to verbalize those needs for themselves. So it's never too early to teach your kids to set those boundaries. Mommy needs to sleep from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and the kids cannot wake you up until 6 a.m. So those are just some simple strategies to try to implement. Of course, it takes more practice than just simply saying that, but prioritizing your sleep is really important, even when you have young kids. And then lack of downtime, that's of course something that we need to address too. And one thing you can do here is ask for help, asking your extended family if they're nearby, sending friends, even a neighbor, or maybe another mom that you know, where you can trade some babysitting time, asking for help so you can get some downtime for yourself. even if it's just a half an hour at a time. That still makes a big difference. And then feeling stressed and distant with your partner. So you really want to focus on that relationship and care for it, expressing with your emotions and how you're feeling. Taking some time to sit down with your partner and say, look, I'm feeling really stressed and strained with all of this being a mom right now and taking care of everything and everyone. How can we work through this and have a little bit less stress so I can recover and be the mom that I really want to be? So sometimes it takes good communication, direct and precise, to ask for the things that you need, but also letting your partner know that you're here to connect with them. You don't want to get that relationship too strained. All right, exercise, of course. We need to try and find some time for exercise because it boosts our energy. It really helps us with our metabolism, with feeling better about ourselves, our body image, all of those things. But how do you make time? Well, you have to prioritize it just as much as you did with sleep. We have to build in little pockets of time, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes every day, to go out for a walk or dance in your living room or whatever exercise you choose, making it a priority to get it done. Maybe put it in your schedule, and that way you don't forget about it. All right, then diet. This is also a big one because without nourishing your body, you really can't have energy to do what you want to do. So adding more protein is really important. Drinking more water and eating lots of fruits and vegetables every single day, and cutting out the sugar and the processed foods as much as you possibly can. This will make a big difference for you. And lack of time for hobbies and friends. It's really important, dear moms, to really connect with your friends. Taking some time without the kids to connect with other moms or with a good friend of yours is so, so important. Take the time, ask your husband for some time off, and go to get together with your girlfriend and have a couple hours out doing something fun and just enjoy that time. You need to nourish your soul, your body, your overall well-being. All right, so we addressed most of these, and this can be really tough, and a lot of times this can be overwhelming to address and to change by yourself. You need the support for it. So if you are getting to your breaking point, or if you're at your breaking point, I want to encourage you to be kind and gentle with yourself and just acknowledge that it's okay to need help and to really seek the help that you need, because without it, you're going to continue in the cycle until your health really breaks down. It can get from chronic stress, you can have so many health conditions developing. It's not a joke at all. So you need to seek the help when you get to your breaking point. What I mean by that is that if you feel like you're irritable all day long, everything and everyone is making you stressed and making you like agitated and irritable, that's a big trigger and a big warning flag. Then if you're experiencing other symptoms like increased anxiety, increased sadness, if you suddenly have cravings for sweet and salty foods, if you have digestive problems, weight gain, or difficulties going or falling asleep, or brain fog is another big symptom. Those are all symptoms of chronic stress and hormonal imbalance. And it's okay to recognize them. That's the first step to getting help for yourself. But then take the next step and find that help. And this is where my coaching program comes in. If you are ready to get some help with this, get the one-on-one guidance and support and encouragement and accountability that you want and need to really recover from chronic stress and from depleted mother syndrome, then I want to invite you to book a free consultation with me. I put the link down below, the link to my website and to my consultation. It's 45 minutes where we just chat and figure out if your situation would be something that I can help you with and if you would be a good fit for my program. So please connect with me as soon as possible.